Once upon a time I lay in bed. The window was open, and lime-scented warm summer breeze wafted into the dimness of my room. The scent of limes came from a Persian lime tree that stood outside my window, and it brought with it the promise of seasoning for boiled fish and chicken sauce. My mother was a woman who walked faster than most people could drive, and she watched that tree like a hawk, especially when the limes started to get full. And one night as I lay in bed, I heard the sound of lime thieves crossing the wall, and heard them as they plucked the treasures from their nests. And my mother, a woman who could walk faster than most people could drive, was out of the house like a shot from a cannon with a broomstick in her hand, and she began to hit arms and legs and thighs and shouted out, "Who's stealing my limes? Leave my limes alone. I can never get limes from this tree." And those lime thieves, they dropped those limes, and they crossed that wall to get away from my mother. And even though my mother was a woman who could walk faster than most people could drive, she could not climb that wall. And as I stood looking out the window, my mother held that broomstick in the air and shook it at me and said, "Those thieves are always stealing my limes. I can never get limes from this tree. Sometimes I wish this tree would just die." A year later, I came home. I lay in bed. The scent of jasmine wafted into the dimness of my room. I looked outside the window, and where there had been the lime tree was just the stump. Shattered dreams of boiled fish and chicken sauce flooded into my mind. The next morning I woke up, and I asked my mother, "What happened to the lime tree?" My mother looked down somewhat shamefacedly and said, "Son, do you remember when I said I wished that tree would die? That was an obedient tree. A month later, the tree just up and died." And then she looked at me and said, "Son, words are powerful things. Be careful how you use them." And this I learned about the power of words from my mother, who fed her children with the juice of limes and the wisdom